With 19.3 million subscribers, Kenya's mobile phone sector is one of the fastest growing across the world, with globally acclaimed technology such as the mobile money transfer. But in the last 2 years alone, mobile phone-related fraud cases have escalated to unprecedented levels.
Kenyans have suffered extremely. If you go to countries like Dubai, you buy a SIM card and is registered there, and then you cannot mess with it again. And there you don't find crimes. But here, whereby somebody buys just 20 shillings on the street, and the next time he is using them, to con, to threaten and all that. And I think we have suffered too much.
Industry regulator Communications Commission of Kenya (CCK) has this week announced the government's directive of mandatory SIM card registration, a move that saw stakeholders in the industry involved.
We started the journey last year. As you know, this is an issue which we wanted to handle with utmost care. We are very sensitive to our customers. They were concerned about the confidentiality of information. We had to ensure that the legislation is in place. Of course, right now we are still working on what you can call a number of legislation like data protection. We're also looking at some amendments within our own act, because we want to ensure that this information is not misused.
So what are the expectations of the mobile phone players?
I think the prepaid subscribers registration is a very important step towards, obviously, as mobile operators being closer to our consumers and have a closer relationship with them. Obviously, it is not the right vehicle or tool to prevent or carve down crimes and criminal activities, but it will be a tool eventually that can be used to prosecute criminals and take the right direction that we have to take with criminal activities.
It is necessary to the country to have this kind of information, because first one, it is security issues. Second one, it could help the operator to understand the customers, to know he is, what he will do, to support him, to make some promotion, loyalty, etc. It is here for us. I think it is very important for security issues to when someone disturb you, you should know who is and why.
Mandatory SIM card registration has been successful in other markets such as South Africa and Ethiopia.
We think it is important to have those details in place, and especially with the challenges of modern crimes, what we call cybersecurity, it is important that we get all the people registering their SIMs. For instance, if you go to UK today, you cannot get a SIM card without doing registration. And it's very simple. It takes less than 1 minute. You just need your passport, maybe sometimes your bill to show where you are. Even where you are a visitor, they have no problem registering you. And the same thing happens, for instance, in Switzerland. We have seen it happening even in India, South Africa, and many countries. They are coming to realize it is necessary to have these phones registered, because more or less they're like your identity.
Also, we need to understand that mobile telephony is using spectrum. The spectrum is scarce. It's a government resource. Okay, so anybody who is using that resource also need to be registered. Government need to know who is the person who is using it. Okay, but yes, if every single SIM which is being used is registered with the valid documentation, the chances of that particular SIM being misused for supporting crime or purporting crime would also go down.
Reports say that in these countries where SIM card registration was made mandatory, growth levels stalled. Is this a concern for Kenya's players?
I think as long as mobile operators and the regulator work together, all right, in terms of defining what is achievable and what is not achievable, I think we can make the SIM card registration process 100% successful in Kenya and not affect the potential for growth this market has to continue growing in terms of number of subscribers and mobile penetration. So I don't see any barrier or obstacle as to SIM card registration affecting really growth or mobile penetration in Kenya.
I don't think there is anything negative about SIM registration. I don't think those details are going to be misused by any of the service providers. I don't think SIM registration is going to curtail the growth of the industry, which people are envisaging it to. There may be a dip in number of SIM being sold for a month or two, but my experience is it bounces back.
Revenue from the mobile phone sector touched 84.2 billion shillings in 2009, making the sector one of the biggest generators of income for this economy. This calls for a need to protect customers as well as build more confidence in this sector. So what does the regulator expect in the short term?
Once we're able to get everybody on board to have the SIM cards registered, it means that criminals and people who want to take advantage of the many benefits of the mobile communication can cease to start using mobile phones for what you can call things which do not augur well with our society, either fraud, either crimes, either hate speech. Because you know that anytime you attempt to do that, we can easily be able to catch up with you.
Now, Kenyans see this mandatory SIM card registration process as a step in the right direction, and their hope is that as the 30th of July comes closer, fraud cases, specifically incidences of kidnapping, will come to an end. This is just one of the tangible results that they expect to see.